All right, welcome race fans, welcome drivers to the JBL Challenger Cup Series race number 8 of 13 in season number 1. This week we are at Darlington Raceway, widely known as one of the most difficult tracks on the service. Built in 1950, these drivers are going to be racing on a track right in front of 47,000 fans. This thing is sure to be we'll call it a spectacle. Let's see. Some of these drivers don't have a whole lot of experience at this track. Some do. So I'm sure we'll find some interesting racing on track, some good battles, maybe a lot of wrecks. So if you're into that, this should be a very entertaining watch for you. There's plenty of everything in this one. All right, let's bring up our track temps. Right now we've got a air temperature of 81 degrees. No, sorry, 77 degrees, track temp 81. It's a 1.3 mile track, so these drivers are able to get the car up to high speeds around 180 miles an hour, and then they have to slow down to low 150s or so to make it around the corner. This thing eats tires up. We have 184 laps to go with about 40-something laps of fuel.
You scared the crap out of me.
40-something laps of fuel. Damage is turned off because if you hit the wall or what have you, we want all the drivers stay in the race. Hang on one sec while I adjust my audio here. All right, sorry about that. This is the first broadcast that I'm doing with SDK. So still trying to figure out the hotkeys and buttons, and we've got iRacing Control set up to try to make the admin and race control of the race a little easier for me to do it all at the same time. So thank you for bearing with us. I'm sure as the season goes on, as the races goes on, this will get more organized and much more entertaining as we work through the bugs. But either way, I'm going to try my best and try to call an entertaining race for everybody. All right, let's take a look around on track. We've got 5 minutes left in practice until we get into qualifying. Let's see if we've got Roger Saucier on track. He's coming off of a big win at North Wilkesboro last week. Currently leading the points championship for season number 1. Roger actually won the practice race last night here with our drivers. So he has a lot of momentum going into the race. Let's see if he can pull off a win or a top 5 in this one. I'm sure we'll see him late at the end of this race in contention. Coming on to track, Ross Campoli finished second last week. He's up there in the point standings as well. He's fighting for the championship. Definitely in contention to win that this season. Let's take a ride around track with Farid Ayuso driving out of Mexico City. Let's see. Oh, he's getting very tight. This setup eats your tires up. You have to manage your right front tire. If you send it too far into these corners and don't slow down before turn 3, just like that, you are going to be right into the wall, and your race will be effectively over until you get down pit lane and grab a fresh set of tires. So the faster the drivers are able to realize this and slow down on corner entry and make sure they're not scrubbing that right front, the easier this race will be for them. Let's take a look at Hunter. He was in the practice race last night and seemed like he figured it out towards the end of it. Braking early for turn 3, not sending it too hard, getting down to that dotted line coming out of 4 and sending it. Car will get a little loose on you, but that's what makes it fun. We're trying to see who can handle this thing out of the corner exit. Right here in turns 1 and 2, you can go full throttle, but you want to make sure you're in that high line and dip down to that dotted line for corner exit. Something that I'm sure we'll see here throughout the race is once you get too wide, it gets pretty sketchy. Each driver needs to make sure they hold their line. Otherwise, we're going to have a bad time. And in this race, we have cautions controlled by iRacing. So we may or may not have a caution-filled race. Hopefully not. These drivers care about that reputation on track. And I would expect that we might have, a couple in the beginning, but once we get tired of being in the caution, we'll go green for quite a while. Keaton Cox in that 57 car. Getting a pass around Ken Jones, who's in the wall currently. Keaton is another one of those drivers to watch out for. He's always in the top 5 in these races. He knows how to preserve the tires. He knows the fuel strategy. Do not ever count that 57 car out. He won, we went back to back for both, the first races of the season at Daytona here in the JBL Challenger Cup Series. So he's a force to be reckoned with on track for sure. Let's take a ride along with Ken Jones. As far as I'm aware, Ken hasn't got a lot of practice laps in with us at this track, so he might be using this first, 100 laps, which, by the way, the first 100 laps are stage 1, and we are going green from 100 with iRacing cautions from that lap to 184. He might use these first 100 laps to get used to the track, maybe not be pushing so hard, and once you find that groove, you can push once you have fresh tires for that final 84 laps to finish out the race. If you save the tires, they'll last for about 30 or so laps, which if you do the math, these drivers have 7 tire sets. That is exactly how long they need to stretch their tires to make it to the end of the race. And preferably you'd go longer than 30, so that way maybe you have 1 or 2 extra sets at the end when it counts. Whoever has the freshest tires at the end of this race is going to be in a good spot to win it. So, all right, we're getting into qualifying here. We got 5 minutes and 2 laps for each driver to get out there. Let me see if I can get SDK to display the qualifying ticker. All right, we've got Jonah Cross getting out there. Keaton Cox is also on track. These drivers are qualifying for points. The top 5 do end up with points that count towards their championship standings. Time to beat should be a high 28 something. We'll see where they come in. Jonah Cross crosses the line with a 29.359 for his first lap. Keaton goes a 29.193. Let's go ahead and ride along with Roger Saucier here. Coming around for his hot lap, I believe. Trying to get a good exit off of turn 4. Looks like he gets it. Keaton just went 28.881. That is a great time. Roger cutting that inside apron into turn 1. Trying to stay on the gas, the high side, coming out of 2, dipping down to that dotted line. Great exit off of turn 2 onto the backstretch. Slowing down before the rotation into turn 3, riding that low side. See if we can get a good exit without spinning the tires. He does. This could be a great lap for Roger. Goes pole 28.795, outstanding lap. Oh, looks like Roger changed his name. Roger's real name is actually Bryce as well. So we got 2 Bryces in the JBL Challenger Cup so far. We are not allowing any more Bryces into the series. Just kidding. All right, let's see who else is on track. Hunter Wellborn currently doing donuts on track. Good to see. Farid Ayuso heading out there. So the way that we do our nicknames in the league, we have our full name and then the team that we're on, so that way with the driver's relatives, they're able to see who is on track and where. But with SDK, it doesn't seem to like that very much, so I might have to work on that. Unless I can find a solution here that works. You can see the names changing on the left-hand side. Oh, there we go. That'll do. That's exactly what we want right there. Roger Saucier holding on to that top spot. Ross Campoli took second away from Keaton with a 28.836. That's a great lap time as well, but nobody's touching Roger so far in the 7s. Javon Thompson might be coming around, I think, for his hot lap here. He goes pole, 28.767. That is a ridiculous lap time. Javon was in the practice race last night and got held up a couple times. He was definitely there at the end to win it, but it just didn't work out for him. So that 93 Zen car, I would definitely keep your eye on that one during the race. Looks like we are all finished with qualifying. We have our starting grid in front of us here. All right, starting on pole, we've got Javon Thompson in that 93 car with the 28.767. Outstanding lap time from him. Bryce Saucier starting in second on that front row. Ross Reapers in third, or Ross Campoli, sorry, in third. Keaton Cox in fourth. Jonah Cross in fifth. Farid Ayuso in sixth. Brandon Birch in seventh. Ken Jones in eighth. Ninth, we've got Hunter Wellborn and myself and Jackson. Jackson Duke, is he? Let's see if he's getting out there. Jackson Duke would be starting right behind Hunter in that case. I'm not racing in this one. All right. All right, I'll be right back to give the initial admin controls here to the drivers. Give me one moment.
Copy that.
All right. Had to give the drivers the initial rundown of the race, when the stage break would be. We are about to go green for 184 laps. Javon Thompson and Roger Saucier lead us to that green flag. Let's see how this thing plays out. I'm excited to see what happens here. Let me try and get this driver info off the screen. There we go. All right, here we go. Green flag is out at Darlington for the JBL Challenger Cup Series. Javon Thompson takes us into turn 1. Let's see how long it takes for these drivers to spread out. Roger's already looking to the... Oh, Roger gets loose coming out of turn 2. So does Javon. They both save it, though. This car is going to be very loose for the first couple laps until those tires heat up, but then it's going to fall off very quickly as the drivers push harder and harder. So you got to find that balance between trying to get up into the position you want and saving the tires.
Carbon.
Keaton makes that pass on Javon. Coming out of turn 2, he completes it cleanly. And Roger Saucier already with a 0.6 gap and growing to Keaton and Javon. These guys have to push to keep with Roger, otherwise this might not turn out well for the first stage. Roger has a tendency to just pull away in these situations, as long as he can get that pit strategy figured out. Let's take a look a little further back in the field where we have spread out quite a bit. Brandon Bush getting loose, coming out of 4th. Nice save there by Brandon. Jackson Duke did not take the field. He might be having internet issues. Jonah making a pass, looks like, on Brandon Birch. Going down the backstretch into turn 3. Sending it a lot of wear on that right front tire. In exchange for the position on track. Let's see how that works out for him later in the run. Let's head back to Roger at the front. Looks like Keaton has caught up to Roger for this top spot. We might have a race on our hands here in the early laps. Keaton does not want to waste any time. These drivers do get points for laps led. If you need a single lap and most laps led in the race, and Keaton has definitely been known to be one that wants to get that most laps led in the race points. Thompson also looking to get in the mix. Doesn't want to let Roger get too big of a lead here. Ross Campoli also making up some time to these leaders. Looks like we have a really four-car breakaway on the rest of the field from Rio Ayuso, 6 seconds back from the leader. Hunter Wellborn 7 seconds back. And then we've got Jonah Cross, Brandon Birch, and Ken Jones all in the teens and 20s here. Let's take a ride with Keaton. Take a look at the line that he's taking around track here. Riding that high line in turns 1 and 2. No, this is 3 and 4. Getting down to that dotted line for a good corner exit. Ryder's getting a little loose in front of him there, but manages to keep the car in one piece. Solid line from Keaton here. Let's head back to Javon. Javon's sending it into turn 3. That's going to heat up that right front. See, it's getting a little tight coming off 4. Too much speed going into that corner. But at this point of the race, it might be what you have to do in order to keep Roger in front of you. In the wall, Javon 93, he manages to save it. Ross falling off just a little bit. He might be saving tire, though. This could be a strategic move from him. He definitely has the skill to get around the track fast, so I wouldn't count him out at all. Alright, as we make our way around the track to lap 14, looks like Keaton is not letting Roger pull away. He's doing what it takes to stay right on Roger's bumper. Make him feel that pressure, see if he can get Roger to push a little harder than he might want to. Roger's in the wall going into turn 2. It is so hard to pass around this track. You are basically just waiting for the driver in front of you to make a mistake and finding the right time to make that move. Could be what Keaton's doing here. I'm sure he does not want Roger to get the most laps led points. These guys are neck and neck in the point standings, so any advantage they can get will serve them well for the championship. Jones has gone a lap down here. Getting very loose coming off of turn 4. His tires might be giving up on 10. Oh, he's in the wall going into turn 1. This is a frustrating situation because once those tires go, that's it. They don't come back. So your only choice is to go down pit road and use up a set and then try to save a little more next time around. If you don't make it that 25, 30 laps on a set of tires, you are at a disadvantage to the rest of the field. You have to save that tire. Roger's lead on Keaton is opening up just a little bit. Roger running that inside line. Keaton running the high side, trying to arc out at turn 4. I'm curious to see how that pans out over the next couple of laps with the tire wear for Roger. Take a ride on with Ken Jones, see how these tires are holding up for him. Last time we saw him, he was in the wall. Yep, he is just in maintenance mode right now, trying to limp this thing around the track. He has to get in from tires at this point and just try again for another run. Babying it around these corners. At this point, that's kind of all he can do. He just doesn't have the grip to run the car the right way around the track at this point. Here comes Jonah Cross up on Ken really fast. Let's see if Ken makes way for Jonah. Hopefully that's the case. Jonah lets up. Ken is blocking the track. Both drivers in the wall. Ken does not seem to be having a good time in that number 10 Exalta car. Let's head back up front where Keaton Cox has taken the lead from Roger Saucier. And Javon Thompson not too far behind. Looks like Roger is getting into the wall again. We've got contact. Hunter Wellborn and Brandon Birch. Hunter Wellborn goes down the pits. Let's back that up for
I brake checked you.
Let's back that up for a second, see what happened here. It looks like Hunter might have been trying to enter pit lane and Brandon just didn't see him going down. Hunter's the first to come in for tires. Let's get back to the leaders. These guys are still running. They should have plenty of fuel to outrun how long their tires are going to last, so this won't be so much of a fuel race. It's more about who can keep the tires maintained the most. Both drivers back in the wall. Thank goodness we have damage off. This would not have turned out well otherwise. Roger's looking to the inside on Keaton coming out to turn 4. Javon Thompson sitting about a second behind the 2 leaders. Ross Campoli's fallen down to 7 seconds back. And these guys are catching up to Ken quite quickly. Let's see if Ken yields out of the way. Please yield for the leaders if they are making a pass on you. Thanks. Ken needs to go in and get those tires ASAP. Otherwise, he is going to be quite far behind once we get to that lap 100 stage. Hunter Wellborn in that JBL car team lead for Wreckhouse Racing. This is not Hunter's strong suit track for sure. Oh boy, we've got some craziness happening in that 34 Brandon Birch. So we keep it straight. We are not getting a yellow. Let's go back and see what happened there. Ooh, Brandon and Farid get into each other. Brandon comes back up on track in front of Keaton, in front of the leaders. Hits that pit wall. Manages to keep it going without the caution coming out, though. Roger and Keaton still battling up here for first. Oh, there's contact coming out of turn 2. Keaton's still in the wall going into 3. This is going to be to Javon's advantage. Very racy here, and coming to lap 29. At this point, these drivers are getting ready to take some tires. I'm sure they've exhausted what they have at this point. Not a single caution flag at this point, though. So great job to everybody on track. Brandon Birch has decided to come in to get those tires and the splash of fuel. Ensure that action there on the last couple laps has burned his stuff up. Oh, Keaton and Roger back into it. These guys are just racing it out side by side, coming out at turn 2 onto the backstretch. Keaton gets into Roger a little bit. Roger keeps it straight. Javon looking to take Keaton's position away. But Javon may not have the tires to do it. I think he's just trying to keep that delta into a manageable range. Ross Campoli and Farid both down pit lane, getting those tires and fuel. For these first 100 laps, it's really a delta race. You're just trying to keep the delta between the drivers similar enough so that way you can make an advantage on pit stops, executing on those and gaining time on pit road. Whole lot of laps in this race, because if you can get, if you're Javon or Keaton or possibly Ross at this point, if you're able to execute on pit strategy, you can gain the delta without having to race on track and possibly end up in the lead and shoot for that most laps points. Brandon Birch on those fresh tires has caught the leaders. You can see how big of a difference the tires make. He's going to have to use some restraint here if he wants to get past them. Keaton making a move to the inside, going into turn 1 on Roger. Oh, there's contact. They save it. Let's ride along with Keaton. Looks like the car's still sticking to some extent. Great exit off of turn 2. Oh man, he's going to have a big old run on Roger right here.
Brandon, go high, please.
Let's see how he takes it. Roger is heading down to pit road. He knows his stuff is burned up. He is ready for a new set. Javon fighting off Brandon with the fresh tires, letting them go. Javon is slow going into turn 1. Wonder what's going on here. Keaton coming down pit road. Javon has elected to... Oh, he made an attempt. Oh, he missed pit road. No, no, no. He's got to stay out. He's got to stay out. Oh, Javon missed the pit entrance. That is going to really mess up his first stage here. It might give him an unsafe entry because he missed that commitment cone, but... Oh, man. Pit entry here is not easy. This is one of the more difficult pit entry that you're going to find in the ovals. Keaton grabbing 4. For anyone wondering, viewers at home, we do not clear black flags under green flag conditions. So if these drivers have unsafe exit or speeding penalties on pit road, they do have to serve those. There are no gimmies with black flags on green flags. Green flag pit stops, I should say. All right, between Keaton and Roger, the gap is closing to 2.5 seconds. Roger had a very good pit stop, it looks like, because Keaton and Roger were much closer before that.
Thank you.
Jonah Cross finds himself in third place, 18 seconds back after his pit stop. And Farid Ayuso is 1 lap down in fourth. Javon has fallen all the way down to 7th place after the mishap on pit entry, with Roger right behind him. Ken Jones still chugging along, 4 laps down. Looks like he's got a bit more grip here than he had before after the pit stop 6 laps ago. Coming around to lap 40, lap 41. Now this is just purely a tire race all the way to lap 100. I doubt we're going to see any caution action. These drivers are going to have to spend the next 60 laps managing their tires and their car. They should be able to make it to around lap 85 or so. So I'm curious to see if we find any drivers who will short pit around lap 60 to make it to the first stage end. Oh, Javon is getting loose coming out of 4. He saves it. Great save from Javon there. I'm sure Roger was holding his breath coming out of 4, seeing that car get loose, the 93. That gap is growing to 3.3 seconds. Roger looks like he is taking off here. Keaton still has a chance to execute on pit road and manage his tires and, you know, close this gap and have a chance for the stage. But at this point, it's really just a race between Roger and Keaton. Everybody else is just trying to practice for that last 84 laps at this point. Hunter Wellborn in the pits. I'm looking at his car because it gave me a notification that he left the car. There is a chance that these drivers have hung it up. Darlington is not an easy track, so I would not be surprised if they have had enough at this point. In the JBL Challenger Cup Series, we do have 2 drop races, so you are able to, take a rain check for 2 out of the 13. And if you find a track that you just cannot stand, you're more than welcome to not race in that race. Yeah, it looks like Hunter has left the track, packed all his stuff up, packed the truck up, and has gone on his way Probably heading to Longhorn Steakhouse to relax after a stressful evening at Darlington. In the driver pre-race meeting, we talked about how this track was going to hurt some feelings, and I think that's shown itself to be true. This is not an easy track, definitely one of the harder ones on the iRacing service. And everybody knew going into this one that if you didn't have the practice time, it was not going to be easy. But we are not here to make concessions for anyone. The cream always rises to the top at these races, and Roger is proving once again that he knows how to drive this car, this Gen-6 car. Jonah Cross maintaining third place. Coming up on lap traffic for Ayuso. Good run from Jonah here. Let's see how he manages for Reed from the cockpit view. Jonah does have fresher tires than Farid at this point, but both are midway into their run, so they might not be at their best. Ooh, scrapes that wall just a little bit going into turn 4. Has a good corner exit though. At this point, if I'm Farid, I'm going to concede this position, but he does not need to do that. Ooh, Farid is in the wall. Jonah's also in the wall. Yep. At this point, Jonah is definitely the faster car on track. If I was Farid, I would let him go on by. But Farid is not one to give up position, so that was just my opinion. He can run his race. All right, there goes Jonah with the pass on Farid. Farid's tires have given up at this point. Slowing way down, lots of wheel input, getting down to that white line. That is not a fun feeling when the car just will not rotate. Oh, he is letting the leaders go by. Let's ride along with Roger. Javon Thompson right there, lap traffic. 2 laps down at this point because of the mishap on pit road. These drivers will get all of their laps back at lap 100, so it'll be a whole new race. Fresh tires, so we can take what we learned and try once again for the final 84 laps.
You got 100, right?
Yes. All right, I'm going to take a couple minute break myself. Let's ride along with Roger as he continues to stretch this lead on second place Keaton Cox, coming around to lap 58 here. All right. Coming around to lap 66. It'll be interesting to see if these drivers take it down pit road to try to get the fuel to make it to lap 100 for that state break. Or if they're going to continue running it out with what they have to lap 80 or so, and then taking a late pit stop to get to that stage break. Roger's lead has grown to 9.75 seconds over Keaton Cox. 10 seconds. What's going on with Keaton? He's continuing to slow. And Roger is just pulling away with this. Basically a replay of North Wilkesboro from last week. Javon getting into the wall there, coming out of 2, saves it. Ross looking to get, or Roger, I should say, looking to get that second lap around Ross Campoli. Ross falls 2 laps down. Jonah Cross is the only driver 1 lap down, and Keaton is the only driver other than Roger currently on the lead lap. I know I've said it a couple times, but Roger with an absolute clinic on the rest of the field here at Darlington Raceway, one of the toughest tracks that we are going to race at any point in any season. Looks like Keaton has taken it down pit road for the final 30 laps. Grab a fresh set of tires and fuel to make it. Jonah Cross also getting down there. Looks like he maybe only took 2. He took right sides, did he? Almost seemed like it. We'll see how that works out for him. Gain a little bit of delta back. Roger's heading into pit road as well. Let's take a look and see if he takes 4 tires or not. You know, nothing's ever over. There's still a decent delta between Keaton and Roger, still manageable. So Keaton's decision to take 2 tires there, if that's what he did, if I saw correctly, could have a big impact if Roger decides to take 4 and maybe gets caught in lap traffic or gets loose on a corner. All it takes is 1 mistake, and then you're kind of bleeding a little bit for the rest of the stage. All right. That gap to Keaton is now down to 4 seconds. 3.8. Let's see, can Keaton see Roger? Sure can. He's got him in his sights. Let's see if we can track him down before the lap 100. He's not the car directly in front of him. That's Jonah Cross, but Roger is going into turn 4 at this moment. You can see him in the very, very top left of the screen. Barely. The gap is growing to 4.8. That is not the direction that Keaton wants that ticker to be going. Well, at this point of the race, Roger has led 65 of the 75 laps. Keaton has led 9 out of those. And I think that represents the field pretty well so far here at Darlington in the JBL Challenger Cup Series. Everybody is just waiting for the pummeling to end and for Roger to take lap 100 and reset this field to get another chance to go at it for 84 laps. We have not had a single caution flag, which is amazing. I was coming into this expecting to see a lot of yellow action, but these drivers have kept it clean and spread out pretty far, pretty fast. And everybody's managed their car pretty well. It might have been a different story if we had done the race in the daytime with hotter track temps, but either way, this is not an easy track to race, so hats off to these drivers for keeping it together as well as they have. Take a look at Farid Ayuso on track, 2 laps down. About 1 second back from Brandon Birch. Let's see if we can ride along with him. Taking it really low going into turn 2. That car is not turning for him. Those tires are done out. It looks like it's time for a fresh set. He is 20 laps on these tires. He is due for a pit stop. It almost looked like he was trying to go there. That car is not turning any longer. Brandon Birch is on 26 lap old tires. Looks like he has a little more grip than Farid at this point. Here's Javon Thompson sitting in 4th place. Jonah is 25 seconds ahead. And back to Roger. That gap on Keaton has grown to 11 seconds, so whatever Keaton's plan was on pit road, it didn't seem to work out there. Roger is running 29.534. Keaton was running a 38.13. And that tells the story right there. Driver currently with the best lap is Javon Thompson with a 28.806, our pole sitter, proving that he does know how to go around the track quickly. I think that he would be right up here if that pit stop mishap didn't happen. So once this thing resets at lap 100, I wouldn't count any of these guys out still. They've figured out what Roger is doing. It's just they've put themselves in a position this late in the run that they have no choice but to just kind of run it out at this point. They're not going to take the win unless Roger makes a mistake here, which seems unlikely. I would not bet on it. Looks like Fareed has taken himself down to pit lane, grabbed that set of tires that he needed with 15 laps remaining in the stage. Now you see Brandon Birch coming around on the high side there. They are fighting for position, so Fareed does have enough time to track him down. It's going to be tough, though. Yeah, Brandon's already sending him into turn 3. I think that's a done deal for Brandon on that position. Come away with 6th for the stage. We have cycled out. Everybody's taken their pit stops at this point. Fareed was the last driver to go in. So our finishing order right now, unless we have a big mistake by a driver, this looks like it's going to be it at lap 100. Roger Saucier taking the 10 lap to go mark of this race. Has led 80 out of 90 laps so far. On the fresh tires, looking to the inside of Keaton. See if we can make the... Oh, Fareed getting pretty loose coming into turn 2. Takes it all the way down to the apron. That's one way to do it right there. Good save from Fareed. Ross Campoli and Javon are on the same lap. Javon is about 12 seconds ahead of Ross. Ross looks like he's going to hold on to the 5th place finish for the stage. Javon, even after the pit road mishap, has made his way to 4th. I remember he was in 7th right after that situation. A great job from Javon. I would not count this 93 car out for the final stage. There's no way. Now that he's figured out how to get on pit road, I don't think he's going to have much more problem on track. Jonah Cross still holding up in 3rd on the same lap as Keaton, but roughly 12 seconds back. 12 seconds. with 5 laps remaining. Roger Saucier continues to dominate and put on another masterclass. I will say that we had a bit of a survey in the drivers' meeting before the race of whether we have a new winner or not. And I'll just say that the survey results were not particularly good for the new winner's chances. But I can't say that we're surprised here. Got some action back there with Keaton, Brandon, and Fareed. Brandon's on much fresher tires than Keaton. Fareed and Brandon are on about the same. Fareed making a move to the inside, below the dotted line. While this is happening, Roger come around to the white flag lap for the stage. Out of turn 4, stage 1 winner, most laps led, masterclass. Once again, Roger Saucier, congratulations on that stage win. Caution flag is out. Wrong button. All right, drivers have received their waiver rounds. So we're getting everybody lined back up
All right,
for
keep
the
going.
restart.
That was my fault. You're good. Just keep going.
Sure.
Yeah. Bryce, how long are the pits closed?
Fareed should be the only driver getting that lap back.
Sorry, Fareed, didn't see you.
Still 2 laps down. Fareed, go ahead and get them both back, please. All right, as we wait for Fareed to get his laps back. Oh, looks like Brandon Birch is still. Brandon, you're 4 laps down. You got to keep going, man. Waves are out. Keep the high side clear for lap cars, please. All right, Fareed is on the lead lap. Brandon has 2 more to give.
Can you wave me around too, just so that it lines us up properly? Thank you.
All right, give me 1 more, Brandon.
You gave Fareed too many. He's going to the lead now. He's going to have a lap on the field.
All right, Fareed, pull down. And just stay there till they come around one time. Fareed, stop. Fareed, stop on track.
He's on the lead lap right now. He just had to wave around and he's supposed to pass all of them.
Oh, okay, so he just needed to go to the back of the field.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. All right, everybody's here. Looks like Brandon will make it.
waiting to hit.
All right, here we go. Everybody's
Heating up.
attempting to line up. We might be single file. Green flag is out either case. All right, here we go. Let's see if anybody has anything for Roger. I'm sure Keaton and Javon and Ross, these guys are not going to let Roger get away with it like last time. Now they know what to expect. Keaton making a move on the outside coming out of turn 4 on this first lap. Those tires are going to be pretty loose. Oh, there's contact.
Sorry, Ron.
Both drivers keep their
Felt
cars
like
straight.
it sucked me in the
Oh, Keaton into the wall coming out of 2. Field's already starting to spread around. Ross looks like he was in the wall coming out of 2. Oh, Fareed going down pit lane. I'm not sure what the move is there. Oh, whoa, Roger gets loose coming out of turn 4. Saved it. How the heck did he save that? That was unbelievable. His car was completely sideways coming out of turn 4. He saved that thing. Hold on, we got to go back. We got to watch that. Look at, that's unbelievable. Heck of a wheel. Wow. Heck of a wheel in by Roger there. But with that, he's back down to 4th place, so he has some work to do in this case. Definitely plenty of laps to make a difference in the delta and pit strategy here. These drivers are looking at their fuel and how many tire sets they have left and trying to game the system, see what gets them to lap 184 the fastest. Jonah Cross currently gets in the lead, and he is going to get that point for lap lead. Finally, some other driver gets a lap lead. He's in the wall. This might be short-lived. Everybody gets around him. Roger finds his way back to 2nd place. Right behind Keaton Cox. Javon in 3rd. Once again, don't count Javon out. Don't count Ross out. Brandon Birch riding back here about 2 seconds behind the leaders. Fareed had to make a pit stop. It might have been that he was out of fuel from getting all those laps down. That could have been the case. Ross is in the wall coming out of turn 4. Field starting to spread out a little bit, just like last time. It is hard to maintain that delta once you start spreading out. You cannot let that happen, especially with that 7 car up there and Keaton now up there. Roger getting right on the bumper of Keaton, trying to get him to send it a little too hard coming out of turn 2. Or turn 4, sorry. No, I was right, turn 2. Oh, Keaton got into the wall. Roger took advantage, makes the pass. Exactly what we talked about earlier. It's hard to just make a pure pass on this track. You have to wait for the driver in front of you to make a mistake, and that's what happened there. So now that 57 is likely in panic mode. He's got to get up to that 7 car. He cannot let Roger pull away, otherwise this is going to be a replay of what happened in the last stage. Now here comes Javon in that 93, looking to make a move on Keaton. He says, Keaton, if you won't do it, I'll do it myself. Excuse me, sir. Still status quo after that lap, coming to lap 118. Still quite a ways to go in this race. Plenty of strategy and plenty of options that these drivers have as long as they stay within that 1 second mark. That's enough to get Delta on pit road, maybe take 2 tires at some point and stretch it out. Keaton getting right back to the bumper of that 7 car, Roger Saucier. Trying to make him nervous. It might not work. Ross is in that bubble of 1 second. He's got to, oh, he's in the wall. This is not going to be good. He's going to be losing time down the backstretch. In the wall again, going into 3. That 46 car. Looks like he's got it under control now. 1.4 seconds gap. He's falling out of that bubble. He's got to stay in that 1 second bubble. If you fall out of that, it's hard to make it back up. Javon's sitting right up here with these top 2. Jonah, who was just in the lead a minute ago, has fallen back to 5th, about 2.5 seconds back from the leaders. Brandon Birch falling back to 10 seconds back. And for Reed, still 1 lap down. He is hoping for a caution at some point. We may get one at the end when people start getting, when the drivers start getting a little antsy, maybe trying to make some moves. We'll see if we get our first caution of the race. This thing has gone green the entire way, other than the stage break. I was for sure that we were going to have a wreck when Roger got that loose coming out of 4, but they saved it for Reed, yielding on the inside to the leaders there. He knows that he'll get all his laps back. It comes out, so he's not pushing too hard at the moment. Doesn't want to mess up the leaders' race. Roger's grown that lead to almost half a second. That's what he wants to see. Ross has found his way back up to the 1 second gap from being 1.3 back, so he's pushing that car. Let's see if we can maintain it through the tire run. He's where he needs to be currently. Smack the wall there going into turn 3. He might just be using it as a bumper at the bowling alley. Since damage is off, the drivers do, they have that option. If they want to use the wall as an assist, they can. It's not going to hurt the car. It might hurt the tire a little bit, though. Coming out of 2, he's in the wall again, but he's gaining time. Down to 0.8 on Roger. Javon making a move to inside on Keaton Cox coming out of turn 4. We'll see if he can pull it off. Side by side coming to the start and finish line. Javon hits the wall. Oh, boy. Oh, man, just barely misses Ross Campoli. Keaton pulls it to the inside. We're going to stay green. No caution out. Javon with the sketchy move. Well, not really sketchy, just taking it too wide, but this track is sketchy. Nothing dirty about what he did. It's just hard to pass here. Let's see if Javon has anything for Roger. This is dangerous because the field is starting to get really spread out now. Once we start cycling in for the pit stops, it's going to be tough to bet on a caution to come out. Keaton has fallen back to 4 seconds back there with Jonah. At this point, these drivers are really hoping for a caution to get this field stacked back up, get Farid back in contention with some fresh tires. Oh, man. Javon is in the wall doing a Ross Chastain. He's going to be losing time on the front stretch to Roger. 8 my lunch there. He actually gained a little bit of time. That ball might have slowed him down for a better corner exit. Sometimes that can be a thing. Sitting right on that half-second mark and growing. Ross is down to 1.5 seconds. If I am Ross or Javon and I'm seeing myself lose time delta to Keaton, or sorry, to Roger, I might elect to go grab a set of tires. Maybe a right side? I don't know. At this point, you got to kind of do anything. That was the point of the practice race last night, to try to see what the right side tires felt like after a longer run. Not many people tried it, so I think that would be kind of a foreign thing for them to do at this point in the race. But you got to pull out the tricks to beat that 7 car at this point. I don't know what else you can do. Ross and Keaton both falling down in time delta. This is not good for the rest of the field. If this thing goes green the whole way, we are going to see a replay of that first stage. Unless Javon has something to say about it right now, this is really a race between Javon and Roger. Unless something dramatic happens here in these last 54 laps. Let's take a ride along with Javon, see what sort of lines he's taken around the track to try to build some time and get up to Roger. Both drivers in the wall going through 1 and 2. Using that draft to his advantage. He's well within the bubble to use the draft. Late braking into turn 3. He's right on his bumper at this point. Let's see if we can keep that tire under him and not get tight. These drivers have 30 laps on the tires at this point, so they are feeling that wear. Roger pulling right back to where we were before. The later that you break into that turn 3, the more heat builds up in that right front, because you're using the right front to kind of scrub the racing surface while you turn left to slow down. Do an early break there if you want to try to save tire. Now the front two, Javon and Roger, they don't need to really save fuel. I think they've calculated that if they can extend it to 140, 145 maybe, they can make it on fuel. So I think they might be trying to extend their tires, you know, and obviously in Javon's case, try to stay close enough to Roger that you have a chance to stay in this race, but they're going to try to send it on this set of tires until about 40 or so laps when their fuel runs out and try to make it a one-stopper for the race win. That might be why we haven't seen Ross or Keaton pit, because they're planning to do the same thing. If they pit twice, you're just completely out of contention because of how long it takes to get a pit stop done here. You're just hoping for a mistake or a caution somewhere on the track at this point. Javon drives it in hard going into turn 3. He's down to 0.2 seconds. He's right on Roger's bumper. Let's see if he can keep it there. He's there. Roger's not building any time on him. If I'm Javon, this is the chance that you have. You've got the draft. You got to be perfect. You got to. Oh, he hit the wall coming out of turn 2. You see that time building up, 0.5 seconds back. But he has no choice. If he's going to try to save the tires to make the fuel run, he's just got to stay out there. That's going to kill that right side front tire. These drivers cannot pit right now. I think that is the strategy that they are using. Ross and Keaton have fallen down to 3.5 and 6.3 seconds, respectively, from the leaders. Jonah has a chance here to get a 4th place if he can work the car and build up some time on Keaton. There's still enough time to do that. We've got pit stops going for Reed. Is coming out of the pits. He is 4 laps down currently. He is hoping for a caution. Sends it down pit road. I don't think he's going to be able to make it on fuel from here. This could be a 2-stopper from Brandon. Javon is slowly but surely catching back up to Roger. Javon is driving the heck out of that car. I can't believe he hasn't fallen further back. He's doing whatever it takes to stay within Roger's reach. You know, if Javon happens to have a better pit stop than Roger, this final pit stop, I mean, that could be the difference right there. And then once you get ahead of him, it is hard to pass. So you just got to play defense. That might be what he's shooting for here. It's not hard to gain a half second on pit road if you do it right. See that gap down to 0.2 something. Once it's down to 0.2, you're within striking distance. You're just hoping for the car in front of you to overdrive and make a mistake, and then you can attack. Right about here should be within the fuel window. I think these drivers are holding out until whoever goes first. And the problem is that if you go first, you'll have a longer run on that same set of tires for the last 40 or so laps. Just by 1 lap, I mean, it can make a difference. So these guys are trying to stretch it as far as they can. Keaton Cox down pit road. Comes in before Jonah. So Jonah temporarily takes that 4th spot. Let's see what Keaton decides to do here. Let's watch his pit stop. Let's see if he takes 4 tires. Right side. Left side. Yep, he's taking 4. Let's go back to leaders here. Javon sitting steady at that 0.3 gap mark. Looks like Roger is coming into pit. Javon, no, Javon has to keep going. He missed the pit entry. He missed the pit entry again. Oh, no. Oh, he's in the wall coming out of turn 4. That pit entry, I'm telling you, it's hard. It's not easy at this track, and it gets Javon once again. He's going to be at least 2 or 3 seconds back from Roger once this thing cycles out, because Ross was 5 seconds back, so we have to assume, you know, Javon's going to be in the same situation. Assuming Roger does not make a mistake. Let's watch to see how many tires he takes. Looks like Javon and Ross are both in. Both sets. Let's take a look at Javon and Ross. Maybe they try to take a 2 set. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it to take 2. You're just going to lose so much time by not having that left side at this point. You can't go 80 laps on a left side, I don't think. Right sides. All right, all 4 tires from both of them. Roger's out on track. Oh, he's going to have a lead. But look at this, Keaton Cox. 0.5 seconds back. Keaton did pit, so this is the actual margin. I don't know how Keaton gained that much time back. Now this is going to be interesting because Keaton pitted 5 laps ago, so Roger has 3 lap newer tires, so that could come into effect if Keaton can't close this gap.
No, he did not.
It band-aids everybody who missed pit road and is burning their tires up early in the last one. Everybody who had issues early in the run, it kind of put the band-aid on there. Somebody missed pit road and such, so it kind of just saves their race for nothing. Screws the people who hit their marks right.
I'm with Roger here.
All right, well, this is the Roger Saucier show. Lap 152 out of 184. Javon and Keaton still fighting for positions. Ross is 2 seconds back from them, or 1.5 seconds, I should say, back from Keaton. So the battle for second is still there. These drivers should make it on fuel, so at this point it's all about who can extend the tires to the end of the race. Unless Roger makes a big mistake up here, this might be the end of it. Javon's sitting 2.8 seconds back even after missing pit road. That's better than I thought he would be. Javon and Ross are going to have fresher tires than Keaton, so Keaton's kind of a sitting duck right here for Ross to get by him. Reed once again yielding to the leaders. He is hoping for a caution to come out, for someone to make some sort of mistake. Turn somebody, something. Somebody do something so we can get a caution out here and get this thing lined back up. Otherwise, that 7 car is running away with this race. Once again, we can't have that 2 times in a row. Matter of fact, Roger is disqualified from the JBL. Just kidding. But he is putting on a heck of a display here. I cannot believe that Javon missed pit road twice. He was right there. This was going to be between him and Roger, but that mistake coming down pit road did it in. He is gaining time on Roger at this point. He was 2.8 seconds back. He's now 2.1. Oh, do we have...
You're all right.
We got some contact back here between Ross and Keaton. We are racing at this point. Ross has the fresher tires, so I think this is a done deal. Let's go back and see if we can figure out what happened there. Oh, Ross went inside for the pass. Shot up the track a little bit of contact. No big deal. All right, let's get back up to the leader, Roger. Javon pulling down to 1.6 seconds. Now, Javon has 1 lap newer tires because of that mishap on pit road. So, 1 lap, I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference, but there is a difference there. But we can tell that Javon is driving very hard to build this gap, but at the detriment of his tires later in the run. But he has no choice. He has to try to get up to that 7 car. It is now or never. Let's get on the cockpit with that 93, see how he's taking his line around the track. At one point there, Javon was less than a second behind Roger, but it's built back up to 1.3 seconds. Coming down to about 20 laps to go. 22 laps to go. Can Javon pull it off? Can he get up to that 7 car and make this a race? Reed on fresher tires, making a move to the inside of both Keaton and Ross. Racing it out here. They will gladly let him go by. Reed being 5 laps down at this point. Ooh, Javon getting pretty loose coming off of turn 4. Saves it. Still 1.4 seconds back, staying within that little window right there, but I don't see much movement in the positive direction at this point, and we are getting down to about, 15 laps to go? 16 laps to go now? You can see Roger right there in front of him. But he just can't get him. 2 seconds back now at this point. He's got to find a way to get around this place faster than Roger can, but at this point in the race, I don't see it.
Let's see, Reed.
Oh wow, look at Farid Yuso getting loose coming out of turn 2, saved it. Good driving from him to not get into the leaders and cause an accident there. Although I'm sure the drivers would have appreciated it to some extent. Now I'm going to keep the camera on for Reed because he is racing with the leaders, and this is, the most side-by-side thing that we have going on at the moment that could derail the race if somebody makes a mistake. The second you get too wide around here, you're asking for trouble. But here's Keaton, who has caught up to Ross. Ross flew by Keaton earlier in the run because he had the fresher tires, but now Keaton's using it. Oh boy, we got some wall contact coming out of turn 2 for Reed. Makes a move to the inside to avoid Ross's car coming down. Oh man. Still getting in the I think Farid's going to let up. Oh, Farid almost spins it coming out of 4. He is sitting on that low side, and it is getting him loose on corner exit. Meanwhile, Keaton and Ross going at it up here. Gap between Javon and Roger has grown to 2.3 seconds. Javon seems to have burnt what he... Oh, boy! Ross on the... Oh. Ross is
You're good.
in the wall on the inside. Car is going to repair itself. He keeps it straight. Caution is not going to come out. Oh, Farid is around. Farid is around in turn 4. Is this, if he gets too far up on the racing surface, this would cause a yellow. He keeps it down. We are staying green. Some sketchy stuff happening here with 10 laps to go. Could have brought out a caution right there, but it did not. Brandon Birch on very fresh tires, only 4-lap old tires. Making his way up to Keaton. Remember, Brandon pitted much earlier in the stage, and he had to make it a 2-stopper, so he is 4 laps down at this point. Hoping for a caution as well. Looks like Jonah is... Jonah has exited the track. He has had enough. And or had internet issues. I know there was a storm rolling in where he was at. That could definitely be the case. But with only 8 laps to go in this race, that gap between Roger and Javon is growing, and Javon looks like he is out of tire. So unless we get some crazy situation, the 2 closest cars together are Brandon and Keaton, where we have an accident on track. I think this is how we're going to end this race. We are keeping an eye on these 2. Brandon has the newer tires. Keaton is on the lead lap. If I'm Brandon, I'm racing Keaton, not to purposely wreck him, but to keep things interesting, and maybe Keaton makes a mistake and you get a caution. And you can use that to your advantage. You will get all your laps back if we get a caution at this point of the race. And that would likely put us in green white checker. Here comes Brandon with a run. Let's see if he does anything with it. He's letting up going into 1. I think he has conceded at this point to not race with Keaton and potentially make a mistake. Five laps remaining. Roger Saucier still in the lead. He has led 161 laps of this 184 lap race. I feel like a broken record, but man, this guy is driving this car like nothing else. He knows how to drive a Gen-6, and he knows how to drive a Gen-6 at Darlington. Oh, Farid is in the wall in front of Keaton. He cuts down to the apron to let them go by smartly. No more drama from the 9 car. Out of turn 4, that 7 car, Roger Saucier of Helix Motorsports. 2 laps to go in the Cookout Southern 250. No mistakes, no mistakes. He's just got to bring it home, run it like he's been running it. There should be no nerves. Javon is 2.7 seconds back. He could run this thing half throttle if he felt like it. Final lap, white flag is out for Roger Saucier at Darlington. Javon 2.7 seconds back. Keaton 6.2 seconds back. Still back there with Brandon. I don't think anything's going to happen here. On the back stretch, that number 7 car going into turn 3, coming out of turn 4 for the checkered flag. Here at Darlington with the win, Roger Saucier, Helix Motorsports, another masterclass.
As per usual.
Good race, guys. No caution.
Wow.
Not gonna lie, those last couple laps there, Keaton made me sweat.
First North Wilkesboro, now this Darlington. Roger should have a commanding lead of points.
So hard to save tires on that last run, and they did not save.
Here he comes down to the
Yeah,
start-finish line, burning it
At
down.
the beginning of the run, trying to catch up to Price, and it was just too little, too late for me.
You ought to do the lap, Roger.
I very much plan on him, but I usually do after most of I'm riding up to a lap.
Wow, after a very clean race here at Darlington without a single caution other than the one stage break, Roger, also known as Bryce Saucier, takes the win. Second place, Javon Thompson with a hard run race. I thought he was going to be there right at the end, but with that pit stop mistake, did him in. Keaton Cox finishes third, Ross Campoli with a fourth, and Brandon Birch, fifth place finish for Reed Ayuso coming in sixth. And after that, we've had Jonah and Hunter Ken and Jackson, who all quit the race or had internet connectivity issues and did not rejoin. Let's see if we can get Roger in for a driver interview, winner's interview. Let's see if we can bring him in here. Hey, Roger, we've got you in the broadcast booth. Got me? Hey, Roger, we got you in the broadcast booth. You got me? All right, one second. Let me get my disc. All right, go ahead. Hey, all right, man. That was a masterclass, just like North Wilkesboro was. Tell me how the car felt over those longer runs and how you pulled this thing off. I know Javon was there, right there at the end of the race, but the pit stop mistake did him in, it seemed like.
Race all around. It was all tire conservation. If you pushed them hard, even just a little bit, you'd run out of tire pretty quick. So you had to just keep the fronts on it to even have any hope of staying up front. The place is really, really hard on tires. So you can't race anybody else. You really do just have to race the racetrack and make sure the tires stay on it and make sure you stay out of the wall. And those are really the keys to success here.
All right, well, we heard it from the best. Well, next week we go to Bristol, short track race. And how do you feel like you're going to do there? I'm sure you have a really good lead in the points currently. Are you looking to extend that at Bristol, or you think you might have some challenges there?
Looking to extend it. I really, really like Bristol, so I'm hoping to do good. Always no guarantees in racing, though, so we just got to stay on our toes and keep hitting our marks, keep performing like we are right now.
That is not what anyone else wanted to hear out of you. Either way, congratulations, Roger. That was an amazing race. Well done. No mistakes at all. We went green flag for the whole thing other than the one stage break, so a good showing from everybody else. Let's see if we can get Javon Thompson in there. Once again, good job, Roger. Appreciate it. Good.
Yeah, before I go, I want to say very glad to win in this car, to do the Polish victory lap for Kowicki. One of my favorite drivers to do it, just for how he went about doing it. So very glad to win in this car.
Excellent, man. All right, we appreciate you racing.
Yeah, thank you guys for putting this series in the broadcast up.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's see if we can get Javon up in here. Javon, you got me? You're in the broadcast booth.
I got you.
Hey, man. What happened there with the pit? What happened there with the pits? You were right there with Roger. And I was like, oh, man, he's got it. He's staying in the right gap. And then we saw the mistake coming down pit road for the final pit stop. Walk me through that. What happened?
Just overshot the entrance is all. Overshot the entrance, locked up. At least this time I didn't decide to just go in there, because the last time I got a 40-second hold. I did it twice.
Yeah, without that, I think it would have been a really good competition between you and Roger there at the end. Seemed like you had the ability to go around the track faster, just inherently in a vacuum. But without that mistake, it all fell apart.
Yeah, dirty air plays a huge factor as well. It's kind of difficult to keep the tires on you.
All right. Well, either way, great job on the second place finish. I'm curious to see how these points end up after this race. Next race, we go to Bristol. How do you feel about that one? Roger said he feels good about Bristol, so that's not what anyone else wants to hear at this point of the season, but you feel like you got anything for him?
Maybe. We'll just have to see.
All right, gotcha. All right, man, great race. Appreciate you racing with us.
All right, thank you.
See ya. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can get Keaton up in here, if he's still on. All right. Hey, Keaton, you got me in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, what do you think about that race? How'd that turn out for you? You didn't have any mistakes on pit road like Javon did. He did better than I thought he would with that one mistake getting down there, but it seemed like the tires just got away with you or got away from you. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, even like that last run, I tried to save really hard, and they would go away. And then once I got into Javon there on the front stretch, it blew the tires off it, and I couldn't compete, and I was too far back.
Right. There was almost a couple situations at the end of the race there where, Fareed was racing with you guys and he was getting pretty loose. He almost brought a caution out in a couple of those situations. Ross was in the inside wall at one point. We went the whole race green other than the one stage break. Did the race turn out differently than you expected it to?
I guess so. Yeah, I thought there was going to be a lot of cautions in this race,
Right.
and so it was all about tires. And
Yep, we called it at the start in our driver survey of if we would have a new winner or not. The odds did not look good for a new winner, and it proved to be that everybody's intuition was correct with Roger pulling away with another win. I'm sure you'll be right there with him in the point standings with a third place finish. Appreciate you racing with us. And then once again, next race is at Bristol. Do you have any thoughts on the Bristol race? Are you feeling like you're going to be able to get a win out of that one, or is that a track that you need to do some practice at?
I don't know. I usually do pretty good there whenever I race there, but it's one of those tracks that, like, when I'm running, I don't feel like I'm that good at, but turns out you're better than what you think, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. All right. Either way, thanks, Keaton, for racing. Good job on the third place finish. All right, we'll send you back. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Rice.
All right, well, there you have it. That's our top 3 finishers here in Week 8 at Darlington Raceway for the JBL Challenger Cup Series. We thank you for watching the stream. Hopefully it was, better than the last ones have been, and each one, from here will be better and better as I figure out how to use SDK a little more smoothly and get OBS and the streaming and all that good stuff figured out. So only up from here. It'll only get better. So we appreciate it. And if you're interested in joining the league after seeing the clean racing we have here and the broadcast and all that fun stuff, go ahead and shoot out to me for a invite to the Discord, Bryce Hinton 2 on iRacing, to shoot me a private message or give me a comment in one of these videos, and I'll make sure to connect with you and get you involved. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a good night. See you next week at Bristol.